be directed towards everybody and no requests, and we'll just have some fun for a little bit. So, let me please welcome, starting us off, our first guest. He is an actor whose credits include Lock and Key, Death Note, and Riverdale. Today he joins us as the voice of Mr. Sinister. Please welcome back Chris Britton. And next, he's an actor whose roles include The Collector, The Man in the High Castle, and The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Today he joins us to discuss giving voice to Kurt Wagner, aka Nightcrawler. Please welcome Adrian Hough. We missed you yesterday.
Oh, missed you too.
Missed you too. Well, you're here today. That's awesome. And next, she's an actress and Canadian politician whose roles include Outlaw Star, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the horror cult classic Visiting Hours. Today, she joins us as the voice of Rogue. Please welcome back Lenore Zann. Welcome back. And next, she's an actress whose roles include Naturally Sadie, This is Wonderland, and the Silver Surfer animated series, where she became the first version of Gamora outside of comics. Today, she joins us as the voice of Aurora Monroe, aka Storm. Please welcome Alison Sealy-Smith. And next, he is an actor and musician whose credits include Silk Stockings, The Good Witch, and of course, Heartland. Today he joins us as the voice of Gambit in the original series, Cable in the new series. Please welcome Chris Potter! And finally, he is a producer, director, and storyboard artist whose amazing body of work includes Thundar the Barbarian, Static Shock, the highly undervalued series Pirates of Darkwater, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Today he joins us as one of the creative architects of the original X-Men animated series. Please welcome back Larry Houston! Welcome back, those of us who were here yesterday, and those of us joining us today. Welcome.
Supposed to be.
No, it's all good, but these things happen. Right? Glad to have you here. Didn't ask this yesterday, so we can do this literally. So it's basically, just love to hear the origins of the show. And Larry, this will start with you. Up until that point, they did that Pride of the X-Men pilot that sat for several years, and nobody really quite knew what to do with it. And at what point, from your end, did the show, this show, evolve?
Well, we tried to, back in the mid-'80s, there were two persons that I worked with. One was Stan Lee, another one was a lady named Margaret Lesh. And she believed in the X-Men way back in the 80s. And so she found the money to do the pilot, Pride of the X-Men. And we got a really good toy animation studio to do the animation. And we put it out there, but back then there was only 3 networks, CBS, NBC, and ABC. They didn't understand, what's a mutant? Why are these guys fighting each other? Who are they? It didn't sell. Fast forward about 6 years after that, Margaret Lesh becomes the CEO of Fox Kids in 1992. And she gives me a call and about 4 other people and said, we're doing the X-Men. She could greenlight a show. And that's how that show got on the air. But then she also greenlit Batman, Spider-Man, Power Rangers. All of the Fox Kids shows that you guys know was because of her. Without her, you would have seen, this would have never existed. And so that's kind of like a quick version of the history.
Marvel and DC both owe her a great debt.
Oh yeah, big time.
Absolutely. And you were involved with Spider-Man Amazing Friends, so of course you were involved in those X-Men episodes, right?
Yeah. One of the first shows I worked on as a storyboard artist was Spider-Man His Amazing Friends. And a little side note, when they were trying to sell the show, NBC kept rejecting all of the premises. So I talked to the story editor. I said, hey, can I try something? You know, I was like 25 years old, didn't know anything. So I wrote a premise involving Spider-Man fighting a character called Swarm. It's made out of bees. And they liked it. My script was actually the first one that NBC accepted for the series.
Very good, very good. So I think we talked a little bit about how most of you guys got cast. Let me throw this out for each of you. Voice acting is very much, it can be sometimes challenging. Doing these, I'll check out our voice after this. For each of you, while doing the X-Men series, what was the craziest moment you all had in the booth that you could recall? Was there just something where just like you look at the script, it's like, what? So are the robots bad sentinels? What? I mean, was there something in the script you needed some clarification, or just something? So when my guy uses the powers, what do I do? You know, does it come from their eyes? Does it come from their hands? I mean, what was some of those moments?
I got a story. Go. Well, first of all, to answer your question about sound effects, we didn't get a lot of direction. It's hard for anybody to direct you when you're being told that you're hit by a laser beam in the chest, blown back 200 yards into the side of a building. So it was sort of, let's make it up most of the time, and that's what we do as performers. We have great imagination, so that was a lot. I do remember the first year of recording. We recorded as a group in the studio, not individually. So there were times where there'd be 4 or 5 of us together in the booth in a big studio. And we stopped doing that because there was mic spill into others. When we were doing our character, you could hear it in somebody else's mic, so eventually we did it individually. But when we did it as a group, I remember being in the room one day and we needed, people were always searching for extra money. So if a character was needed that was not one of our characters, but they needed somebody that sounded like Jack Nicholson, for instance, one day, like 4 guys put up their hands, and it was Cal and Norm and maybe Cedric. I don't know. So we had 4 guys competing to see who could try to outdo each other for their Jack Nicholson impersonation, and I didn't have a clue. I just sat back and was watching these guys going, I can't do imitations. I can only do my voice, you know. So that was, to me, that was an eye-opener. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of talent in the room all the time. And I missed it when we had to go to the individual sessions and you're all alone. The good days were as a group.
Anybody got another one that we'll throw? No, it's all good. And the original series, you were all working on the magnetic tape, right?
Yes.
Take 2.
Yeah.
That's those days.
Yeah. When they would do their shows, they would by mail, an old technology. They send cassette tapes to us back in Los Angeles from the recording for us to listen to. You know.
There was no internet.
No internet.
We didn't even know the show was successful.
They'd send it down on horse and buggy.
Well, actually, I have a kind of embarrassing story. Embarrassing for me, so if I share it with you guys, you're not allowed to tell anyone. So, and it's about, the recording and one of those moments in the studio. So I never got, in that first year, I never got a chance really to do the group things because I was doing Shakespeare out in Stratford, and the only day that I had off was Mondays. Mondays were dark days in the theater. So they weren't about to, plan and schedule around one actor, so I would come in and do the stuff by myself, which I found really disconcerting because I'm a theater actor, so it's all teamwork. It's all about teamwork. And all of a sudden I'm in there and it's just a microphone and a music stand and a script and anyway, so it's a Monday and I've got to knock off about 5 episodes. So I'm going to be working all day. I got morning, working, I got lunch, and I got to work in the afternoon. So the morning goes beautifully. We're just knocking it off. People are saying really nice, flattering things, and I'm happy. I go and I have my lunch, and I come back, and I start work. And the first thing comes out of my mouth, and I look in the booth looking for my approval. And they're in there and they're laughing. And they went, okay, that was funny. Could we get this done now? So I try it again. And this time they don't laugh as much. They're like, okay, Alison, we still got 3 more of these things to do. Can we get to work? And I don't know what's happening, but the voice is just not there. So I try again. And at this point, nobody's happy with me at all. They really think that I'm playing a game, and I'm not. I'm trying desperately to get Storm back, but Storm has left the building. We had to leave those 3 episodes until the next time, and you guys know time is money, right? But that was the first and the last time that happened to me. But up to this day, I have no idea what happened, where the voice went. I just couldn't place her. I just couldn't get it. But don't tell anybody, okay?
All right, you all just don't tell the internet, But if it does, it's good to keep it secret, so it's fine. Well, friends, before I jump out in the audience, again, I just want to thank you all. I want to thank you for the performances you brought to these roles. And Larry, thank you so much for all the hard work and knowing the value of these characters and how it would transfer on over and all the other fine work you've all done. So thank you all so very much. All right, so let's go ahead and hear what everybody out here has to say. Let's go ahead and do a line, and whoever asks the first question will get 2 pieces of candies. All right, looks like it's you, so come on up. Hey, hi, what's your name?
Harry.
Harry, what do you have for them?
I was just going to ask what your favorite episode or arc was to work on in the original series.
Okay, well, I'll just start. A Rogue's Tale, when I got that script in the 2nd season, I was really happy because finally we get to see Rogue's backstory, her origin story. And a lot of people ask, they say, did it hurt my voice because I had to scream a lot? And I like to say, well, I was already a kind of a scream queen in Canada by that time. I'd done a lot of horror films, so I had a lot of practice screaming by being murdered in many different nefarious ways. So it was great. It came in handy when I had to do all those screams as Rogue. But it was so much fun. Like there's one shot where she is pounding her way out through all the different layers of the floors in a building and punching out through the ceiling. And then the last shot is all of them just looking up through the hole at the top where she's disappeared. And I love that. I love that episode. That's about it for me.
Well, my favorite is the Nightcrawler episode because that was the first one I appeared in. It was also my first animated audition ever in my life, and it was just very quickly. So when I auditioned, my agent joined up with a voice agent, and I said, "Do you have anyone who does a German accent? We just don't want Colonel Klink from Hogan's Heroes, something real." And so I did lots of German characters. Went in there, saw the script, and went, I think I know what this sounds like. So I went in there, "Can you hello?" And then all that came out. And I just remember looking at Dan Hennessy behind the glass in the booth, and he had this Robert Plant hair, and when he walked in, he was kind of like, whatever, okay, go ahead. And then I did it, and it just kind of clicked. And when I looked up, he was there. He's a very passionate guy. And I went, yeah. Do you want to do it again? Okay. And then the next thing I know, I'm in the studio next to Lenore and Cal, and I'm like, it was one of my favorite days ever in a studio, my first one.
Now you got me thinking of the Colonel Klink thing. Logan! Anybody else got another one later on? It's pass or play.
For me, season 5, the episode Descent, which the origin of Mr. Sinister is Nathaniel Essex, the doctor, the geneticist, who was a compatriot of Charles Darwin, and he was looking for a cure for his wife, who was very ill on death's door, and his child, and that's when he started the experiments in genetics. And one character mentioned is the experiments you are doing are quite sinister, and he remembers that word, that description, and then he takes that description when he starts to do experiments on himself, and that's when he develops it to Mr. Sinister. So that's the episode that I am most fond of.
I just knew the character from the beginning. Every time I got told him my greatest part for me was at the writing.
Check.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
You're there.
I was saying that I just knew the character. I knew that guy, and I knew how I wanted to play him. But the best part was the writing. So it wasn't a particular arc for me. It was just that the writing stayed true to what I felt that character was how that character was going to be played by me. So every time he opened his mouth, I could hardly wait because the writing was excellent, and it fell in line. So I enjoyed doing all 73 episodes that I did, and the stuff that came out of Gambit's mouth was money to me. I loved it.
For me, obviously I wasn't one of the voice actors, but for me it was going to be the Phoenix and Dark Phoenix saga. I tried my best to make it into as accurate as I could to the comic books. I even used panels from the comic books into the show, so that if you read the books, if you're watching the show, you actually saw certain panels animated in the adventure. So I tried to do that.
And you succeeded. And if we're being honest here, this is the best adaptation of the Dark Phoenix storyline. It really is. So, do you have a favorite?
It's a basic answer, but probably the finale.
Good question. Well, thank you for your question. Good one. Thank you. That's what it's good. Hi, what you got?
This one's to Miss Allison. It's like how would you able to pull off like I noticed like when she's storm, it's like her speeches are like melodramatic. And it's like especially like when she's activating her powers. That's what I like about her because she's storm. And how was that all you or was that like just?
So, what was it like finding your voice?
Again, it was, as Chris was saying, it was so beautifully written that, sometimes as a performer, you're searching for who this character is and what the style is, but the style was right there on the page, and it fit very much with who I am as an actress. I tend to be big. I'm very much one of those go big or go home kind of actresses, and of course I was doing Shakespeare at the time when I first started this, so it just lent itself very much to what my style was, and it's one of the things that I love about the character is her drama, her theatricality, the fact that she sort of announces, hey, this is what I'm going to do. And I love it. It all worked because, of course, her heritage is she comes from a long line of witches. They're witches, all of them with white hair and blue eyes. And so often when she is calling on her powers, it almost sounds like an incantation, right? And so between the Shakespearean theatricality of it and the witchiness of it, I just reveled in it, and I found it really easy, and I've got to thank Larry again for that, for making it easy for us as performers, because because all we had to do was lift it off the page. It was all right there.
And as you can tell, we picked the best actors and actresses to portray the X-Men characters, the best that we could find. So I always applaud you guys for all the work you did.
Okay, what's your name?
My name is Christian. First of all, I just want to say thank everybody here for giving us your guys' time and making our dreams come true by coming here and just making us happy for who we are. My question is actually directed to everybody except for Larry. You can also answer. Out of all the most iconic lines that all your characters have said, which ones are your favorite ones?
Well, they're catchphrases.
Well, it doesn't necessarily be their catchphrases, but maybe they had a particular line that. That's fair.
I mean, I can tell you the line that I use to center myself, because our recording schedule, there are often weeks and sometimes months and months between, so you find yourself, trying to get back into it. And of course, I am Storm, mistress of the elements. It brings me there every time.
It'll be easier if you don't resist. And less dangerous. And I am the future.
I think my favorite is in the new one, although there's so many. Look in your heart, Logan, from the first one. And I think it's episode 7 when Rogue is on the bed and Logan and Nightcrawler are looking over, and then the Prime Sentinels arrive, and then Logan goes, "I got 6 reasons why." And then Nightcrawler comes out with 2 swords and one on his tail. He goes, "No, mein Freund, nein." It's like, I just love the pun in it.
I love that moment when Nightcrawler comes out with all those swords. It's so fantastic. I have so many great lines as Rogue, some really funny ones. But in the last iteration of the show in '97, in the scene where I am dancing with Magneto in the sky, in the ceiling, and then we touch palm to palm like Romeo and Juliet, and then we kiss. I have a line after that, and in the script it was something that was written, and it seemed a bit wooden to me. I just didn't buy it. So I said in the booth, would you mind if I try something else? And they said, sure, go ahead. And so at the end of that, the palm to palm and then the kiss, I just looked at Magneto and I said, thanks for the dance, sugar. But Remy was right. Some things are deeper than skin. And they kept that line, and I love it because she's repeating something Remy has already said when she told him that she was going to leave him and go off with Magneto. And it speaks to me of volumes of what true love really is. It's deeper than skin. And the fact that she finally realizes that it's not all about touch. It's something deeper. For me, that just says so much. And I'm grateful that they allowed me to use it.
I don't know. Was something like
I always loved the stuff when he was so full of himself, and he was, but so full of BS at the same time. He'd say something like, where I come from, we always kiss the bride. We kiss the bridesmaids, too.
I kind of like, I'd have several favorite lines, but what I decided to do when I was doing the series was that when the writers came up with good catchphrases, I would try and repeat it. Like when Beast would be around, he'd have a line like "Oh dear," or "Fascinating," or when Gambit would have "My name's Gambit, remember it." I kind of kind of kept things going, Storm and everybody. If the writers wrote something that was like memorable, I would repeat it in different shows.
Thank you. Great question. All right. Hey, what's your name?
Andrew.
And what you got, Andrew?
Well, first of all, for those of you that probably cross paths with them, Miguel and Ileana say hi from Toy Quest 101. They love you guys. But I just honestly, I don't have a question. I just want to take a second and say, for one, thank you for coming, but thank you guys for all your hard work. Thank you for your cultural impact with these characters. I know for a long time you guys didn't know just how much you guys meant to the fans, and just whether they were X-Men fans or just fans of animation or just, like I said, the cultural impact that you guys have had over the years. It's staggering and immeasurable. So thank you so much for all your hard work, all of you. You as well, because without you, none of this exists, and man, that's all I can say is thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Hey, what's your name?
Well, now Jean-Pierre, and I'm just here to tell you guys thank you for all your hard work. Been collecting comic books since 1973, and the only question I have for you guys, who would you guys like to fight in a crossover?
So if you could cross over in any other facet of the Marvel Universe in animated form, who would you like to either team up with? Well, Larry could say, when superheroes, they always fight at first, and then for the wrong reasons, and then, oh, no, let's team up and fight the big bad.
For me, it would have been nice if they had, if the contracts had been in order, it would have been X-Men versus Avengers. That would have been kind of fun, but you had to have contracts signed way ahead of time.
I ended up playing a role in Avengers United They Stand, which was an animated version of the Avengers. We only did one season of it, and it's now on Disney Plus. But I played Tigra in that. So I always thought it would be fun if Tigra and Rogue got into it.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Well, it's a little segue, but I played a doctor in Alien vs. Predator 2 who gets the alien, hits him right in the center of the head, and as well as like filling the whole maternity ward with little aliens. So it would be Nightcrawler versus Alien.
That's good, and that's fair game. Alien, Predator, that's all Disney umbrella, so Star Wars, that's on the table too.
I did the voice of Dr. Doom. I can't remember what it was called, but it would be fun to see Mr. Sinister and Dr. Doom have a go-to.
Same time?
Oh yeah, that would be the fun part. Do both voices.
I'm always up for Dr. Doom in animated form, so yes. Any other throwouts? So, I'm with you, Larry. I would have loved to see classic Avengers have gone up its way too. Because of course we would have seen more opportunity to see Ms. Marvel, as she was known back then, Carol Danvers and Rogue, and their history, which I'm hoping we'll see eventually in live action.
Yeah.
I just want to see that. So, great question, though. Thank you very much. Oh, and again, hey, what's your name?
Liam. So, this is directed towards everyone. Your opinion, where do you want to see the series go in the future?
Where do we want to see the series
Go.
On and on.
to season 56?
And an animated feature film. That would be fun too.
Yes, hear it, universe, hear it.
A Christmas movie.
Yeah.
X-Men on Hallmark.
Well, I'm working on season 2 with the existing production team, and we are working on season 3 premises. So I can at least tell you we got 2 more coming up.
Hey, what's your name?
Brody, I was gonna ask, who is your favorite villain in the entire series? It could be from 97 or from the original.
I love Goblin Queen. I love the Goblin Queen when she is still kind of a villain. I love her.
Do you mean across the board, like Joker? I would pick him.
Oh, you mean Arcade? Right.
I love Mr. Sinister.
Mr. Sinister's pretty terrible.
Sinister was fun.
And he's the nicest guy.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite?
Probably Magneto.
But he's the hero in his mind. So, no, that's right too. No, hey, great question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Oh, this is wonderful. Hey, what's your name?
It's Alice. My question is, did you guys get to keep anything, like scripts or like cells or anything, after the original series was done?
Yes. I have scripts in a cell from Saban.
Oh, Saban, yeah.
Saban, yeah, framed. And I have a jacket. I brought it with me. I didn't wear it, but I have my original Gambit jacket. And I think Cal wears one. It's yellow. I have the blue one.
Yeah.
I had a yellow one, but I auctioned it off years ago. So yeah, I got some stuff.
Yeah, I think we all have some of those.
You know, this. I gotta say, this is so wonderful that because there was no internet, because of the way that we've just the lay of the land back in the early '90s, we really didn't know that the show was this popular. And here we are, all these years later, meeting all the people that it affected, who are all grown up. A lot of you say to me, I watched this when I was a kid, and I'm like, what? You must have been 3. But it's wonderful that this is, for us, that we're not doing this posthumously.
Yes.
Because I can tell you right now, my kids could care less. If I drop dead tomorrow, you know, one of these guys will have to tell them your dad was involved with the X-Men. They're that interested. So this is fantastic for one person.
Norm Spencer would have loved this.
Oh, we miss Norm.
Yeah. So sorry he didn't live long enough to see all the accolations and people who loved his work.
Yes.
He would have loved it.
Yeah.
He would have loved being here.
Absolutely. And great. It's a great round of applause for this cosplay. This is really nice.
Yep.
So, you're very welcome. Hi, what's your name?
Harley.
Harley, what would you like to ask?
I would like to ask to Chris, was it very hard to change your voice from Gambit to Cable?
Yes. Well, it wasn't hard, but it's different. So sometimes when you sing or you do certain voices, you push from your diaphragm. That's right around here. And when you do a voice like Cable, you bring it up into your throat. And that can be rough on you. So I wouldn't say it's hard, it's just different. And I always enjoyed Cable because he was more sing-song, and it was easier on my voice. And he was charming, and that was fun. Cable's all business, but he's got a sense of humor, and it is in there, so he's fun to play. Thank you for the question.
Who do you like more, Cable or Gambit?
It's okay.
Gambit.
There you go.
Yeah, that's always the right answer.
Raging Cajun.
Go on. Hey, what's your name?
Michael. Well, first, I wanted to say, you all are just such a great inspiration. Thank you for all of the work that you've done and being so iconic. Such a big fan of your work from both the '90s series and '97, and again, hoping to see further things in the future. 15 seasons, 56. Let's go. Christmas movie. Hopefully, Gene isn't doing the cooking.
And Gambit with the beignets.
Yes. Hopefully they get to actually have his Christmas dinner this time. But my question for all of you is, were there any cut storylines or cut characters that you guys couldn't do during the original '90s series that you wish could have happened or maybe wanted to see in the future?
That's a Larry question.
Yeah, I think there was only maybe 2 premise premises, 2 or 3 premises that didn't make it past that stage. Pretty much when they wrote the stories, it was pretty much a collective between the story editor, which is Eric Lewall, Sidney Iwanter, who was working for Fox, and myself. We would kind of all agree upon what would be a good story to go forth. And there was only a couple that didn't make it because it didn't meet the standards we were trying to get of like something exciting and something that would be very visual. You know, it was too intellectual. It really wouldn't work. The one story that I wish we had gotten to, which we never did, was the original story of Krakoa. You know, the living island that started the whole series. That was probably one story I wish we had gotten to.
There you go, great question, thank you. We have just time for these last 2 questions, so come on up. Hi, what's your name?
Angel. So first I want to thank you for being such a phenomenon and being a huge part of my childhood and inspiring. Like, I like how it shows like more unity and how we deal with prejudice. Like, it was very, like, I resonate with the X-Men, so thank you so much, all of you. I appreciate that. A big question I have is, was it difficult and challenging from the original 90s series, now coming back to X-Men 97, to find your voices? Like, with such a period of time, was it like riding a bike, or was it like, it was fun, hard? Like,
for me, it was really like riding a bicycle. Yeah, I just sort of closed my eyes and she was there. I realized Rogue's not very far from me at any time, so it was a pleasure to be able to come back to her and give her life again, and realize, yeah, she's been inside waiting to come out. Yeah, thanks for that question.
I'd have to say the same thing. It was, you know, sometimes you doubt yourself. We all have our adversary that lives in here, and you wonder, will I be able to bring it? Is she still there? You know, why did they come back to me? And then you get into the studio and you see the script and you see the lines, and it's just, she lives, you know, and she just came out of me and flew again, and it felt really, really good. So, yeah, definitely bike time.
Yeah, with Sinister, it was just like hopping back on the Harley Davidson. And that was easy enough. You know, it didn't take long.
Well, I mean, the animation I did before X-Men 97 was the Dragon Prince, and I have to find this like drag for that. And so that was, I was going when this, and also 5 years ago I said to my voice agent, hey, there's this big animation I want to be up for. Can you just tell him I was the Nightcrawler in the X-Men anime? And he says nobody cares about a 25-year-old cartoon. Anyway, so yes, then 2 years ago I got a very sheepish email from him saying they would like you to try to do this. And so yeah, there was that feeling of the bicycle, and mine was sort of, had been in the shed for 30 years and was a little rusty. So, but, you know, I just sort of, you know, and look in your heart, Herr Logan, what's there? And so.
And you have a new agent. Now, for me, it was just like hopping back on a bike, but apparently the wheels had fallen off. So I got a new bike.
There you go. Great question, Angel. Thank you. All right, bring us home. What's your name?
JC. Yeah, I just wanted to say I want to thank you guys so much, because I relate a lot with the X-Men. My pet, especially with Magneto, like my grandparents came from Galicia, Spain during World War II, escaping out of there, and I realized my grandmother told me this: you can either show you're different or become everything you despise about your opposition. And it's very true, because I like how Storm, dealing with both sides of prejudice, like chooses to overcome the obstacles, and Magneto teaches me that we can become everything we despise if we give in to our fears so greatly. And another question for Mr. Sinister, since I know Mr. Sinister has a Dracula-like performance, what if Christopher Lee was alive and he did Mr. Sinister on screen?
What if, so basically, what if Christopher Lee was still alive? What if Christopher Lee did a live-action version of Mr. Sinister? Since you based your version on Dracula. So basically, would you see that happening? Or would you see you guys fighting over the role?
cast. But if you Google actors who are or have been considered for Mr. Sinister, you'll see a list of 25 actors, and all of them well known. John Hamm was at the top of the list. Even actors like Gary Oldman. There's a whole list of actors who have been sort of under consideration, but either they haven't made the commitment, or they haven't made an offer, or they just haven't written him into any of the scripts available right now. To play maybe Mr. Sinister's father.
Friends, as always, thank you so much for spending this time with us. Before we go, want to take a picture with our fantastic audience? Yeah. All right, everybody, let's come on up towards the stage. Not on the stage, towards the stage. Want to take a picture of this cast and all of you. And right after this, in a little bit, they will all be back at their tables.